Hi there, I'm Andrea Koppel, and it's time for coffee, the podcast where you get to hear firsthand what the jobs and careers that interest you the most are really like. Hey there, Java junkies. If you're creative, or you love to sell or pitch products or ideas, or if you think you want to start your own business, then this is the episode for you. And frankly, even if you're pre-med, this episode is for you because my next guest thought he was going to be a doctor when he was an undergrad, ended up going to law school, and within a couple of years had quit the firm he worked at to start his own promotional marketing business. Today, he employs 70 people with offices all across the U.S. But before I introduce you to Larry Cohen, I want to make sure you've signed up for the Java Junkies Journal. That's our weekly newsletter that gives you a one-stop shop way of learning about the episodes we're going to be dropping that week and the guests we're featuring. Just head over to the Time for Coffee website at time4coffee.org and sign up. It's right there on the homepage. Now grab your mug and take a chug of a delicious caffeinated beverage because it's time for another caffeinated career conversation. And my guest today is Larry Cohen, the president and CEO of Axis Promotions, a full-service marketing agency focused on brand development in the promotional products marketplace. Axis serves clients from Zappos to Nickelodeon to JetBlue to the USA Network. And Larry and his partner are ranked by the Advertising Specialists Institute as among the top 50 most influential people in 2018 in the promotional products marketing industry, an industry that is, by the way, valued at $22.9 billion. Larry, welcome to Time for Coffee. Are you caffeinated and ready to go?
I am well on my way.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Larry, I know you are a fan of the game called Blackjack. So I thought I'd have us start by laying our respective cards on the table and sharing with T4C fans just how you and I know one another.
Are you asking me or you're going to tell the story?
Well, maybe I should start. So Larry and I have known one another for probably 35 years. Is that about right?
That is about right.
Because, and you can pick up the story.
Because I married Andrea's sister, who we met at Duke University, and she's been my best friend and since that point. And Andrea and I have kind of grown up together. So it's been great to grow up with her and the whole family.
Well, likewise. And Larry is the older brother that I didn't have. I have to say that because Larry's almost a year older than I am. So, it's been great to have you in my life, Larry. And I'm so excited and proud and just really amazed at everything that you've accomplished professionally. So let us jump right in to the Time for Coffee espresso shots, the 10 questions to help Java junkies figure out if this is a profession for them. And frankly, if it is, how to get into it. So the first question, Larry, is what entry-level jobs are available to young people who want to break into the promotional marketing space?
Pretty much everybody who joins us starts at the same level. And it doesn't matter whether you're coming right out of college or it's your second or third job. You basically start off working on a team as an associate on that team. And, you are having client interaction and supplier interaction almost from the very start. I mean, the structure of our company is very flat. So the entry-level jobs are there. We seem to be on a hiring binge. Our business has been growing. So there are opportunities for people in our industry.
Fantastic. What about a useful skill or skills, Larry, that you look for in the young people you hire?
I'm not sure we look for necessarily skills because we can teach you lots of skills, but it's more about the things that you can't really teach people, attention to detail, organization, confidence. And then for me, also a big thing is curiosity, because our business so revolves around getting to know a lot about products and a lot about marketing, getting to know a lot about your clients. So if you don't have the curiosity, probably not a great profession for you because there's not a day that you're going to walk in where you know everything about everything. So every day is different.
That's great. That is such wonderful insight. What about someone's major, Larry? Is that a deciding factor to get into this profession?
No chance. As you kind of intimated before, I poli-sci pre-med at Duke and got accepted to medical school and decided not to go 2 weeks before graduation. Ended up going to law school with a focus on business, and now I run a marketing agency. So I don't think your major matters as much as what you learn to do with the stuff that you've learned, in life and in school.
What about a graduate school degree? And that is less so for the entry-level positions, of course, and more so for those who may want to be the president and CEO of their companies one day, who may want to be the SVP or executive vice president in a marketing firm or agency. How important is it to have that advanced degree?
It's probably not critical. Look, I would never go back and change anything that I've done. Going to law school at Penn was fantastic and taking some business classes. So having some financial acuity and understanding some stuff about finance, some stuff about marketing, I think those graduate degrees can be fantastic and can lead you in lots of different directions. Obviously, the world is changing a lot. The world of advertising and marketing is changing. So I think there probably are some fields out there that, people could focus in on, whether it's digital and social and learning how to speak the lingo that a lot of people, particularly younger people coming up today, are very conversant in.
Yeah, absolutely. Larry, what about life experiences? What do you think are the most useful ones to have for someone starting out in this field? You mentioned the social media piece.
Yeah, I think we have people come from so many different backgrounds. One person who, sang opera and did other things. So there's all sorts of English majors. I think the life experience part is it goes back to the curiosity thing. And, if there's any piece of advice I give to people when, things like this come up is that they need to be actively engaged in their own life and their own career. And even the people when they start and they get started and, I meet with them pretty much right at the very beginning. It's like, look, take ownership of your career that, seek mentors out. Don't wait for mentors to find you. Seek more work out. Seek things that interest you. I think it applies whether it's on the job or outside of work.
Yeah, definitely. And in school, for sure, seeking out those mentors is really important, whether it's your teachers, your professors, whether it's other students that you've met who are exceptional. I think there are all those opportunities to be looking for people to kind of help guide you and partner with you through your life.
I totally agree. And I know this sounds weird, but seek people who are different than you that maybe push you outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Because, if you're open-minded and you're observant, you can learn so much from people without even having, it's the classroom of life as opposed to sitting in a classroom and trying to learn stuff from a book.
100%. So, Larry, what is the best part for you of being in the promotional marketing business?
For me, it's that every day is different. Literally, we have hundreds of clients and we do thousands of projects every year, and not one of them is exactly the same. So, we are constantly looking at new products. We're constantly looking at new challenges from our clients. And for me, the fact that I know that every day when I come to work, it's going to be a different experience than the day before, and I'm not selling the same thing over and over again, keeps me really actively engaged. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes those things that are different in each day aren't the most amazing things because sometimes we're dealing with issues and stuff like that. But sometimes solving those problems from your clients is very gratifying. So I love the fact that every day is different. I sometimes joke that I'm not clinically ADD, but this is a perfect business for somebody who wants to look at different things every day.
Yeah. And that actually leads me to my next question, which is, what is the part of your current job at Access Promotions that sucks the most?
I think sometimes the hardest part of our job is because we're on the creative side and we're the ones coming up with ideas, that oftentimes the suppliers or manufacturers that we're using to produce the goods don't necessarily follow directions specifically, or something doesn't dry properly before they ship it, or they're supposed to ship it overnight and it gets shipped ground. So a lot of times we're having to fix things that we can't necessarily control. So we are very reliant on our supplier network to do stuff well. And I just think that every day there's a challenge. And sometimes it's created by a client who forgot they needed something and they need it today in their events today, which we have done that. And sometimes it's created by the supplier. But in all of those challenges, is sometimes those are the things that get your adrenaline going and can be exciting.
Yeah, it makes caffeine unnecessary.
Or very necessary.
Or very necessary, exactly. Larry, what is the best career advice that you've ever gotten?
I think I alluded to before, and it goes back to kind of taking control of your career and really owning it. I think a lot of people go through life and life happens to them. And there's so many things that I think people can control, not as much early on because you feel like, you're just taking instruction. But this generation of people coming out of school, to me, I think are fantastic and really fascinating because I have spoken before to groups where they just complain about, and I'm using millennials, a much broader term than just millennials, but Gen Z and all of those. And they don't work in the traditional way and they're not motivated by the traditional things because they want to know why and they want to understand the bigger picture and they want to know how things fit together. And to me, why wouldn't you want people that wanted to do that and wanted to know those things? And the days of the traditional job where you worked for a big company and you just did your job every day, I think are gone. And I think that as business owners, we need to recognize that the generation is different and engage in that. And I mentioned earlier, seek out mentors. I love this concept of mentoring up, right? Like, Andrew, you and I are not old, but we are older than many. And there's a lot that they can teach us and there's a lot that we can teach them. So whereas I think it used to be that people the mentoring went one direction, now I think the mentoring can go two directions, which is fantastic.
I think that is incredible insight. And it has been validated over and over again, Larry, in the interviews that I've done with young people in their 20s on Time for Coffee. I am constantly impressed by how thoughtful they are, by how much wisdom they already have. Frankly, much more wisdom than I had when I was their age. So I think that is fantastic insight. And I really want Java junkies to recognize how much authority they have and power they have in creating the life, whether it's professional and personal, that they want to have. So thank you for making that point.
Yeah. And the other part that goes along with it, Andrew, not to interrupt, but I think when you do it, be humble, right? Like I think you may be the smartest person in the room, but you may not have the most authority in the room. When you're humble, people want to give to you. And when you're appreciative and when you thank people and do all those small things, people are so willing to give. And I think if you take those things into account, they really go a long way.
Yeah. And we should have also added that Larry is the father of two Java junkies, both of whom are in college right now. So he speaks from experience about that humble piece. He's got to keep his kids, right, very humble.
That's for sure.
Larry, what movies, if any, or Netflix, Amazon, Hulu shows, or for that matter, fiction books, do you think accurately depict the profession of promotional marketing?
There's not a lot that kind of do that well, but when I think about this question, the two that come to mind, and this is probably as much about me as it is about what I love about the profession. One of them was Toy Story, because so much about our business revolves around finding amazing products that we can brand for our clients and help make a tangible connection between their brand and their target audience. And so to me, I'm a very tactile person. And so I get to play with stuff all day long and look at new things. And then the other one that comes to mind, which is in the same vein, is Big, which again, probably Andrea knows me well. Like I'm a kid at heart and goes back to the toy thing. And sometimes in life, you find the thing that really works with you. And both of those movies kind of symbolize some of the things that I love about the business, that it's not traditional, that it's not the same thing every day. And then, and I'm having fun. So
absolutely. And that is so important in life, to find what is fun, what kind of taps into your passion, your personal kind of what lights your fire. And Larry, you have absolutely done that for sure. So final espresso shot. What would young people be surprised to learn about your profession?
I think they'd be surprised to learn that it's actually a profession. Every person who's going to listen to this, they look around their room or look at what they're carrying, they have promotional items with them. It's everything from the backpack with the brand on it, or the water bottle that they have with them, or it's on their keychain, it's on the sweatshirt they're wearing. I mean, the industry is so big and so diverse. I think you mentioned about a $22 billion a year industry. It is probably the lowest cost per impression of any media out there. It's larger than outdoor media. It's larger than I think maybe newspaper advertising. I mean, it's a massive industry that people don't know about, because if you're in school and you're interested in marketing, you learn more about the traditional parts of marketing. Yet when you get into it, you realize that every company gives away or does what we do on some level. Some are very active and engaged in it. Some do it more passively, and they don't even realize that, it's advertising. I think that was the part that when I started in the business, I recognized that not many people viewed what we did as advertising. They really views it as just kind of the giveaway. And I think what has helped us grow and be as successful as we have been is the recognition that if we could teach people that this is part of their marketing, this is part of their advertising, and get them to be more strategic and thoughtful about it, that it can be an incredibly effective media. And the industry is slowly starting to catch up to where we were 28 years ago when we started.
Amazing. And for those Java junkies who want to hear more about how Larry has been both strategic and thoughtful in building Access from the ground up, listen to the main Time for Coffee interview that has already dropped. You'll be able to listen to how he got his start quite literally from his kitchen table. Larry, thank you so much for making time for coffee today with me and the Time for Coffee community. I have such tremendous respect for you and obvious great love for you. And I know Java junkies are going to get so much out of having listened to this episode.
It's been my pleasure, and congratulations to you on this great podcast you put together.
Thanks so much for listening to Time for Coffee, where the professionals in the jobs that most interest you always have time to grab coffee 24/7, no matter where you live. I have one quick favor to ask you. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Time for Coffee. Thanks so much.